What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Mega Shrine, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Dew Crew? This is Ball Hawk Ifata Motherfucker of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, Lions Talk Live. It is Sunday morning. The NFL draft is over. Undrafted free agents, for the most part, have picked or chosen their teams to go to. We're going to break it all down. It's going to be a little bit different show today. We're not going to do 5 headlines now. We're not going to do main topic today. We're just going to analyze the NFL draft, see what you guys have to say about it, see what everybody's thoughts are on about it. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to give you some of the national media thoughts. We're going to go through the whole shebang-a-bang, the gamut of things. Real quick, before we get all that rocking and rolling and going, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that march for 13,700 subs, and we're roughly 92 subs away from that. So if you can help out with that, that would be most excellent and great. Also, if you have a half second of time, it doesn't cost a dime. Reach on down, smash that thumbs up button, that like button. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but most certainly never least, if you are considering looking for maybe something to read, maybe maybe you just got some time on your hands, whatever, go to Amazon.com or wherever you find great reading literature and order yourself an issue of Kajora book. It is the first in a 9-part series. The second part releases later this year. So if you like historically accurate situations, but maybe the characters within these situations are not real, allegedly, then go ahead and check it out. Give it a kind review if you enjoy the book. All right, with all that done, said and out of the way, let's get this show rocking and rolling and going again. We're going to do it a little bit differently today just because, hey, while I could put 5 headlines in there, it's all going to be about the draft anyway. So I figured why not just dive right in the draft. So let's get into it now. All right, breaking this down again, it will be a little bit different today. Tracking all the Detroit Lions undrafted free agents. Syracuse wide receiver gets a nice deal as list reaches 9 players. Another signing, a former Lions player returning. So for those who don't know, when the draft ends, anybody who wasn't drafted and the representation can go ahead and try to sign with whatever team they so choose. Let's real quickly walk through the list here. Probably the biggest player on the list as far as most notable person is going to be somebody the Lions in an area of the team the Lions did address repeatedly through the draft. And I think we're all going to enjoy these draft picks that they got. But as far as the non-drafted players, the undrafted free agents, North Dakota State's Mason Miller, offensive tackle, he's probably going to be one of the bigger ones out there as far as name recognitions, potential to make the team. If you don't know who he is, let me walk you through him. Miller was a first-team FCS All-American for the Associated Press, Walter Camp, while winning a national championship last season. He started all 16 games at right tackle for the Bisons in 2024. He started 15 games the previous season. So what do you have? A guy with a lot of versatility and a lot of experience. He did with those 15 games the prior season with 3 straight at right tackle and 12 at the right guard. Miller is 6'7" and 310 pounds with 83-inch wingspan. He also comes from the FCC level, but he also has played stages, the brightest lights, as we know, through their playoffs and national championships. So again, guy who's been there, done that, and played at a high level. Now, one of the ones that probably will draw the most interest from Lions fans specifically is Jackson Meeks, wide receiver out of Syracuse. Why is this important? You know what? He is related to Zadarius Smith. So could that be something? Wait and see. We all went into this season, or this draft, I should say, anticipating, because of the John Morton style offense, that there was a strong probability the Lions would look for some taller receivers. We saw that with the third round trade up, etc. for TSLA. We'll get into that later. But with Meeks, you know what? He's 6'2.5". So, we're going to split hairs here. He might be close to 6'3". 200. I've got him anywhere from 210 pounds to 220 pounds. That's a pretty good size wide receiver. And yes, he is, like I said, related to Zadarius Smith. So could he be somebody that makes the team? Remember a year ago, the Lions did bring in, I forget his first name, Isaac. I think it was Isaac Williams. He was like 5'10", quarterback / wide receiver, nearly made the team. NFL Network reports Meeks got a $200,000 guarantee and a $20,000 signing bonus. So sort of like Williams the year prior, the undrafted free agent receiver who, at the end of the day, he didn't make the team. I want to say he went to Cleveland or maybe it was Cincinnati, something like that. But at any rate, the Lions are saying, hey, this kid's got some real potential, so we're going to give him some money up front and try to bring him in. I think he's got a shot at it, again, especially since the Lions are looking for some vertical sideline receivers. They're going to be a little bit bigger. He's got that, and he's got some wheels as well. All right, keep going through the list. I'm not going to spend all day on each guy, but and Kelney, the defensive back from Grand Valley State. If you guys don't know, Grand Valley is typically one of the bigger, stronger Division II programs in the NCAA. For this kid, for Ian, he's 6'2.5", 210 pounds with a 4.5 40-yard dash. He's going to need some development to get up to this level, but he's got all the raw physical tools. I get why the Lions brought him in. We'll see how he does. The Lions are going to have some battles, as we probably are all aware, for one of the backup safety spots. He potentially could be in play. We'll see. All right, Caden Prinkerson, let's see. He's a tight end from Ole Miss, 6'6" pass catcher. Played 3 seasons at Memphis and then finished with 2 seasons at Ole Miss. He was his best production was probably in 22 when he had 50 catches for 602 yards and 7 touchdowns. He did have some other fine seasons, but that was probably his best one. All right, Anthony Titus, the third running back from Ohio. Let's see. Public Radio in Ohio reports the Lions have signed him. I don't have confirmation that. I'm going off the radio report there. I'm going to assume it's correct. His lone season, the Mid-American Conference, the MAC, which most of you know I used to coach at Western Michigan University, so they are in the MAC. I'm very familiar with Ohio. Let's see, he had 237 rushes for 1,215 yards last season. Pretty nice season for him there. Let's see. Caleb Kennedy James, wide receiver from UMass, wide receiver confirmed to sign with the Lions. He is 6'1", 195 pounds. That's all I really have on him. I don't know a ton about him. Center from Arizona State, Leaf Fuatu, a 6-year college pro player, a 6-year college player who never played anything other than center. He had 47 consecutive games to end his career as starting. And let's see, PFF ranked him as the 12th best run blocking center in the nation last year. So we'll see if he pans out. We probably all get Lions are looking for some future replacements for a couple guys on their lines. If nothing else, maybe some depth. Could he make it? We'll wait and see. All right, Keith Cooper Jr., edge from Houston. Cooper played only 1 season at Houston where he notched 3.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. He is 6'4" and 280 pounds, so he has the size that the Lions typically like at defensive end. Last of the undrafted free agents, at least that I have as of this morning, is Galvin Holmes, cornerback from Texas. Holmes played most of his snaps on the outside with only 13 reps in the slot. He also played 269 outside snaps, serving as the back of the rotation for the Longhorns. Louisiana native, transferred from Wake Forest in 23. All right, so that's what you got for your undrafted players. Is there going to be a diamond in the rough here? We're going to have to wait and see. I could, tell you guys I know more about these guys. I don't. I know a few things about a few of them, but that's about it. If somebody knows more, hey, good for them. I just don't happen to know more. All right, second round grade averages across national media, for the Detroit Lions. So I know there's been a lot of thoughts about what the Lions did on day 2 of the NFL draft as far as the second and third rounds. What I tried to do is I tried to break down the averages. I think I got like nearly 35 or something like that, different scores from different national reporters, NFL Network, ESPN, yada, 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 you get it. And I try to break it down into some averages. So based on those averages, let's walk through it and see what you guys have to say. The first round grade for the Lions, I think most of us get this guy was probably a pretty good fit for the Lions. Could you have gone somewhere else? Absolutely. But, hey, I'm going to move on and focus during this segment on just the other picks for Lions, the second and third rounders. All right. Excuse me. Got to clear my throat here. It's as far as Tate Ratledge, we all know the Lions were going to work on their offensive line. That's probably not a big shock. Kevin Zeitler departing to go to Tennessee did open up a pathway for perhaps some younger talent to come in. If you guys know anything about Ratledge, he is I guess you could say a combine freak. His scores are all over the place. He's highly athletic, powerful, whatever. But based on the national grade average, it's an A-, or however you want to word it. Some of them gave numbers like, scale of 1 to 10, it was a 9, or an 8.5 or whatever. But we're just going to say this. Based on all those grades, it's a A-. I think anybody who watches this kid gets it. He's got nothing but upsides to him. He's got all the stuff you can't teach as far as the RAS scores, the athleticism, the wingspan, the whole shebang-a-bang. I would be surprised if there's really any Lions fans that are upset with this pick. But if I will also say this, while I think he was a great pick for the team, I only did one, quote unquote, breaking news video on any of the draft picks, and there's a reason for that. We'll get into that later. But I will say this for the Detroit Lions and their offensive line, I think the future's starting to look real nice for it. All right, as far as the next pick, and this is probably the most controversial pick, I would say, from national media, Lions fans, comments in the comment section yesterday or the day before, whatever, and probably today too. But Isaac Tisla, there's some people that absolutely hate this pick, what we gave up for him. I'm not here to debate whether or not we gave up too much or not. At this point, I look at it this way. What are you going to do about it? If you did give up too much, so what? It's in the past now. All I can say is when you look at the scores across the national media, yada, yada, for him, it's a B-. There are some that, I will say this, there are some that said this selection for the Detroit Lions was an A+ or, a 10 out of 10. There are others that said this thing was an F, a complete miss. I think a lot of the reasoning behind it is there are just not enough people that know about the kid. Now, I gave you my thoughts on it because I did know the kid, and I think it's a heck of a pick for Lions. Could you argue that they gave up too much in the trade? I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I look this way. If I could say I got somebody that I knew in my belief as a scout or GM that was going to be a big fit for us, really hit, if I give up a couple late third-round picks and I get a couple sixth-round picks in return, is that too much? I'll let you guys debate that. There's no right or wrong answer. There's only your answer. But here's what we can say. Lions wanted to get bigger at the wide receiver, and they wanted to get younger while getting more athletic. They did all that in this pick. I get he's only got one season really at a big-time level, but he did well at that level. Here's what I would say as a scout. Can anybody watching find another guy in the draft that we could have got at the number 70 pick and say they're 6'4", with that type of speed, and watch his run blocking? The kid does run block real well. I did have an opportunity to watch some more in-depth yesterday, and I would say he fits the Dan Campbell type of wide receiver. He's basically a tight end out there when he blocks. He blocks downhill. So what's that mean? He gets his hands. He wins leverage. He puts guys in the floor. I like that part about him. And yesterday I didn't know that stuff. Today I do. I feel a lot better about this pick. Not that I had a bad taste in my mouth by any stretch of the imagination with the pick yesterday. I get some of you guys thought we gave up too much. But in my personal opinion, he's either going to be a home run win or he's going to be a bust for the Lions. There really won't be a middle ground for him. I just think from what I know of this coaching staff, the respect I have for them, what I've seen them do with other players, I think they're going to get a ton out of this guy. And my anticipation is, I know I said this yesterday, but you get about halfway through next season and into his second and third season, this guy could be an absolute choo-choo train rolling through defenses. I think he's going to put a ton of stress on opposing defensive coordinators once he gets acclimated to the NFL game. You just can't teach what this kid has. So go with those different grades, but it seems like for the most part across national media, whatever you want to call it, print media, that overall the grades are pretty high for the Detroit Lions for those 2 picks. Again, if you have thoughts, throw them in the comment section. Detroit Lions hit big on, quote, Shedeur Sanders-ish falling player. This is the one video I did yesterday about a Lions player, because when I saw that we got him and where we got him, I was like, wow, Brad Holmes might have just pulled off one of the bigger steals of the NFL draft. And to be honest, while I was Jen's son had graduated from college yesterday, so we were kind of messing with that stuff. I was trying to pay attention while doing all that, getting ready for taking him out to dinner, just stuff like that. But when I saw this come across, we kind of had a little bit of a lull in the celebration stuff, so I was trying to pay attention to the media, and I was kind of shocked nobody was really talking about this more. If you guys don't know, when we started the NFL draft, Miles Frazier, the pick in question, he was projected to be anywhere as high as pick number 60, or at the very least in the top 100. Let that sink in. You just got in the 5th round, and yes, we didn't trade much to get him, but in the 5th round, you got somebody who was projected to be potentially a top 50, 60 pick in the NFL draft, meaning there was obviously only, if he was a top 60, then there's only 59 guys rated higher. This guy might be the next Christian Mahogany, and I've got that kind of belief in him. While the Lions hit on Tate Ratledge, I think we'll have to wait and see how he does on the field. I think this might be the best draft pick of this draft as far as value, what you got him for, and his upside. Go check him out. Check out everything about him. But you want an offensive line that destroys defensive lines? This kid's probably going to be a part of it. I get there's always questions on players. There's a reason why people slide down. I'm not here to debate that. I'm just here to give you my opinion. Have your own opinion. Do your own research, as I always try to say. Just because you hear somebody talk about it in ESPN or NFL Network or on YouTube, I guess, check him out. But I think this guy might be potentially the guy that starts for the Lions next year. I've got that kind of belief in him. He's got everything you want in a nasty offensive lineman. He will go destroy people. He blocks downhill. He runs through people. I don't know if he's not unathletic, but I don't know if you're going to use him as much as, say, Ratledge on some swing or screens or pulls, traps, etc., stuff like that. One of these guys is probably going to end up playing center out of Ratledge or this kid in Miles Frazier. But I think this with Christian Mahogany, and now you're adding in these 2 guys, this Lions offensive line just got a lot more nasty and a lot more youthful, a lot more athletic. You took some years off its overall age. Last year, I want to say we're the oldest offensive line in the league. We all get it. Taylor Decker's getting older, but you know what? Zettler's gone, so that's going to make you younger right off the bat. Penei Sewell, it cracks me up when I saw some reports saying the Lions have the oldest tackles in the league. It's like Penei Sewell's only like 23. He's still pretty young. I think people forget he was 19 when he was drafted by the Lions. What say you guys, though? I think this was probably the best overall pick by the Lions as far as value, but what did you think of Miles Frazier? Again, if you haven't watched anything on the kid, go spend some time this week and look at it, because I think you're going to look at it and say, man, the Lions might have got somebody with a 2nd-round grade, basically, and they got him in the 5th round. And they probably shouldn't have. Somebody else should have probably snagged him from him. I love that draft pick. I think that's one that the Lions absolutely won on. All right, Vegas new homes, Detroit and the Detroit Lions. So here's what we can say. About 3 or 4 days before the draft, we reported that Vegas had odds on the Detroit Lions, and they were saying they were going to make 3 trades. Well, guess what? Lions made 3 trades. Brad Holmes obviously is Trader Holmes. What do you want to call him? He's now made in 5 drafts. What is it? I'm trying to think. 17 trades. So, I mean, we get it. He may not always make a ton of trades for existing NFL players, but during the draft, he is a moving and a shaking. We went into the draft with 7 picks. We came out with 7 picks, but he moved the pieces across the board. I'm guessing most of you like the overall draft, but maybe not. We'll find out. I guess we dive into it. Brad Holmes, just so you guys know, there was a report that one person did win on the Brad Holmes, debate or whatever, the Vegas odds on it. I guess they got about $500,000. So I don't know the full story on it, just that they won it. You guys can probably Google it and find something else. All right, if the offensive lineman, the Shedeur Sanders type guy falling down, the Miles Frazier type guy falling down, if that was my favorite pick, I know a lot of you guys fell into this. Tons of you guys were emailing me or texting me or whatever about this, or Facebooking me about this guy. Hey, if you don't know the Egyptian Mauler or whatever you want to call him, this guy is something. He is something. And yes, cameras were there when he was selected by the Detroit Lions. Ahmad Hassan was picked by the Lions, and I think I've got it queued up here where we can kind of watch it. Maybe it recycled. All right, maybe I can't play it. Well, I'm not going to play it all, but anyways, walking you through it. You see the cameras on him. You guys can Google it. You know what? What the heck, man? I'll try to bring it up here. Hopefully a commercial doesn't pop up, although if it does, I got to take it off air. But, let me see if I can do this. So give me a second and see if I can do it. See if he'll play. Yeah, I can't. All right, never mind. Got to stop it. Go check it out. He gets on the phone. He gets emotional. And what person won it? You just got drafted. You're nervous that you're not going to get drafted. He falls to the Lions in the what they get him. He's on the phone with MCDC. He's like, man, I'm willing to get on the field and die for you. This kid's got some abilities. And yes, he was a little bit later in the draft. Yes, I get everybody wanted an edge earlier in the draft. You know what? You get what you get. And here's what we can tell you, that when you look at this kid, he's from Boise State, got him in the 6th round, 196 overall. He's got some wheels. He's got some power. He's got some developmental downsides too. And I only say downsides because he doesn't have it yet. Now, he's got the stuff you and I can't teach. And as a coach, a scout, these are things I always look for. What are we starting to build this player with? Does he have stuff that, no matter what I do to teach you, I can never put into you? Yes, I would say he's got the athleticism. He's got the size. He's got all that stuff. He's got passion. He's got desire. These are also things pretty hard to teach in people. But, man, he had 22 sacks in his final 2 seasons at Boise State after moving to America from Egypt and picking up football as a teenager. He has a great story, and it was a fun post-draft interview. If you haven't seen the interview, you can easily put in his name, Google it, and find it. So I hope you guys go do it. I think if you look 2-3 years down the road, if this coaching staff really works with him, he didn't really spend a lot to get him, but he's got some severe upside. I get everybody's going to say, man, I didn't like this draft. We needed edge rushers. We needed people to get after the quarterback, and we didn't do that. It is what it is. I think clearly at the end of the day, when you look at this draft, you say Brad Holmes went simply best player, in their opinion, available. Yes, you could also say they were forward thinking and that, hey, when you took Williams in the 1st round, DJ Reader, he's probably not here a year from now. I get that. When you took Tisla, you're saying, hey, Tim Patrick, you're not here a year from now. We need to get younger there, bigger, faster, etc. They did that. Offensive line, there are reports talking last year about how we had the oldest overall offensive line in the league. You know what? You put a whole lot of resources in that to try to make it younger for the foreseeable future. So go check out Hassan. I like this kid. I think he's got tons of passion. And again, he's got I love his personality because Ahmad Hassan, I think he's, if I'm saying that name right, great. If not, then hey, please forgive me. But I really like everything he brings to the table there. All right, moving on to the next one here. And the last one here, Brad Holmes selects 3 Georgia players. Now, I bring this up for one reason. Brad Holmes is very territorial. He seems to latch onto a team, and he sticks with that team to get players of interest. You can go through the Lions draft picks, and if you don't have the full breakdown, I tell you what, let's walk you through it. 1st round, we went defensive tackle, Tyleik Williams, Ohio State. There are some reports that maybe in his pro day he messed up his hamstring a little bit. You know what? He's got all sorts of time to heal that thing up. Yes, hamstrings can be a pain in the butt. Pick 57 with the trade up for Tate Ratledge. It's going to be harder to find a more athletic offensive lineman than this guy. There might be a few, but there ain't going to be many. So I like those picks. You addressed both the offensive and defensive lines there. You could argue, hey, this is just what the Lions do. They address those lines, and they're going to keep the line strong. I know some people wanted, again, edge rushers left and right. Didn't get them. You took care of the Lions. Pick 70, I get this is also going to be the most controversial pick the Lions probably made, and there were a lot of people up in arms about it yesterday in the morning show. I'm sure you guys saw other people across YouTube media or whatever media jumping up and down, shaking fists about it. But I can only tell you what I think. Isaac Tisla, I like him a lot. Yes, you could have got an edge rusher, but you know what? The Lions also said they wanted to get younger, bigger, faster there. They did just that. Miles Frazier, my pick here is the best Lions value pick in the entire draft. I think you got arguably a second round talent in the 5th round. You just won there. And again, your offensive line gets better. You finally got the edge in round 6, 196. Ahmed Hassan from Boise State. I think he's got tons of potential, but he's going to take some time to grow. But he's got the right passion to put it in and probably grow. If I was the betting person, which you guys know I'm not, I'd be putting some money on him to be successful. Is he ever going to be a starter, Hall of Famer, something like that? I don't know, but he could be a sound rotational piece. Dan Jackson from Florida was the number 7 pick at 230. He's got some good stuff. He's got some athleticism. There's no doubt about it. My downside with him, he's only started 1 year in college football. And then wide receiver Dominic Lovett from Georgia. Not mad about him. Again, the Lions clearly wanted to get more depth at receiver, get younger there. He's not a big body by any stretch, but he's got at least a chance to do something here. My anticipation is he's probably not on the 53-man roster by the end of the year. All right, Duke Crew, I probably rambled on by all this a little bit much. My overall grades, I'll go through it player by player and give them to you. Williams, I'm going to give him a B+. I didn't love him. I didn't hate him. I think he fills some needs, but at the end of the day, I think there's probably one player I would have taken higher, but it doesn't matter what I think. I don't watch these guys for a living, like some of the scouts and the Detroit Lions representations. I'm going to give him a B+. Let's see, Ratledge, I'm going to give him an A+, because you know what? I don't think you could have done much better at that pick for what you wanted to get on the offense line. Tisla, hey, my pick isn't probably your pick. My grade isn't probably your grade either. I'm going to give him an A- overall because I really like everything he brings to the table. It's going to be hard to find a receiver like him in the draft without going into the first round. So the fact that you got somebody that is as raw athletically, and he's actually got some development as far as his route running, etc., while he can run block as well as he can, I really like the pick. I also get why other people probably don't like it. Frazier, if I could put another plus on it, I would. It's an A+++ to me. This guy, I think, has real chance to be a starter for the team, and he got him in the 5th round. Ahmed Hassan, man, I'm probably killing it, so again, apologies. I love his passion. I love his athleticism. I don't like his development for that. I'm going to give him a B, maybe a B+. You know, I'll be kind of go B+. Dan Jackson, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I don't know. I'll give it a B-. I love the athleticism. I just don't like the fact he's only been a starter on the field for 1 season. Love it. You know, again, yeah, there's things I like about him. There's things I don't like about him. I personally would have liked to see the Lions go in a couple different directions here. But again, I'm not them. I'm going to give him a C, and that's probably being kind there. Now, overall, one thing I will say in closing before I get to the Duke Crew comment section, Lions wanted to clearly get more athletic with this year's draft. And my brother Tim sent me this over last night, and I didn't have time to put it on the screen, etc. But maybe I can real quick. Hey, I might have emailed it to myself once he did. Let's see if I did real quick. If I did, then maybe I can bring it up. Yeah, I did. No, that's winning Lions. Anyways, Lions were like the 3rd team in the NFL. There's a metrics that they use to grade basically the athleticism of all the draft players. Lions are number 3 on that list as far as teams who got the most athletic players. So it could be, I know a lot of you guys love what the Roseman does at Philadelphia with the Eagles, and I do too. I really like being aggressive, being athletic, being fast on the field. But the Lions this year were actually the 3rd best team as far as just raw athleticism with their draft picks. And I don't remember offhand who the top 2 were. But the Lions are trying to get more athletic, both at the outside wide receiver, the offensive line, and with the defense. Speed kills, and it's one thing you can't teach: speed, size, power. I think they achieved all that. You heard my grades. You heard my talk. What do you say? Throw it in the comments section. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right, let me scroll to the top of the screen. Give me a minute. There's a few comments here. All right, I'm almost there. Scrolling as fast as I can. I'm still going. I'm heading towards the finish line, and there we go. Is there any updates on undrafted free agents? Laki Tassi, I haven't heard anything in regards to him. If somebody does know, throw it in the comment section. But good morning to you. Burger time. Good morning, Coach. Now that the draft is over, it's countdown to the schedule release. Can't wait! Exclamation points. Go Lions! Woo! Back at you, Burger time. And yes, about 3-4 weeks from now, we'll get the full schedule release, and then we can start plotting our course to a Super Bowl. Mike Marine Gunny, howdy, Dan, and Duke Crew. I like the picks. Me too, man. Overall, I do. It was really only one I kind of was like, indifferent on. I do think the Lions had a purpose, had a goal, had a game plan. They stuck to it. Hard to argue with that. Every time. I'm happy with the picks. Now we sign Smith, and off we go. Exclamation points. One pride. More and more, the longer the draft went on, you heard tons of people, including NFL Network, ESPN, everybody else in between, talking about it would appear the Lions probably have some sort of arrangement or conversation with Zadarius Smith about returning. So let's Scooby-Doo it real quick. If Zadarius is one edge, Hutch is the other, Williams and DJ are your tackles, man, now you look at some of the backups with Pascal, Alaquin Muhammad. I'm probably even forgetting people. I am forgetting people. Levi Onwuzurike, Roy Adams, etc. That's a pretty deep defensive line. It might get after the quarterback, too. All right, Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Breaking the rest of expectations. Exclamation point. Woo! Hey, all right, we'll go with that. Good morning, Bo. Michael, agreeing. Salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation points. One pride. You got to love the pride. Pat, now that I have slept on it, overall, I like what we did. I still think we overpaid to get Tisla. And I get it. I want to say there was somebody else chatting on the comment section of yesterday's video, last night, maybe it was this morning, I don't know, somewhere in there. And I think there's a lot of people that are more warm to the idea of getting the kid. They just feel like, man, 3 third-round picks to acquire him, that was a bit much. The only thing I can say is, here's how I looked at it. The 2 picks that we're giving up next year to acquire him, those are going to be end of the 3rd round. So they're basically 4th-round picks. Now, you've got, 2 6th-round picks in return that basically are the end of the 5th round, the start of the 6th round. So I get you gave up a bit. Yes, you can all debate whether we gave up too much, but one thing I won't debate is the size, the speed, the athleticism, and the run blocking you got with the receiver, because to me, that's not debatable. He's got all those things. Ken, love the fact that Brad added much needed depth on the O-line. Man, did we? Not just with the draft picks, but with the undrafted free agents. They clearly wanted to attack the offensive line. So I'm down with it. Land of the Hunt, some YouTuber content creators had actual meltdowns live on their air over the picks. Kind of felt bad for them. I'm guessing who that would be, just because I know he's very passionate about the Lions and the picks. You either love the picks or you don't. I'm not here to debate it one way or the other. I can only say the first 3 picks of the draft, I really enjoyed. I thought, man, you have a clear vision here. I've already gave you my remarks on the 5th round pick and some of the other guys. I think the team wanted to get more youthful, more athletic, bigger, faster, stronger. They did all that. Dave, that LSU guard might be the steal. Sounds like he was expected. Yeah, 2nd or 3rd round. Yeah, 100%. And again, not to beat the dead horse, but I like him. I think he's awesome. I think the Lions really stole something when they got Frazier in the 5th round. And kudos to them. That trade up, we can all debate the 3rd round trade for the 70th pick for T-Slub being too much, but I don't really feel like they gave up jack to get him as far as getting Frazier. Silver Server, good morning, Coach and everyone. Same to you. Alada the Hun, he definitely was best player available. Yeah, I would agree with that. Bo, Alada, nah. Let's see, Berg time. Good morning, Silver Server. Voltron Force, Alada the Hun, Derek does that for views. Maybe. I don't know. Berg time. Derek is smiling. Okay, he probably is smiling. Maybe at the end of the day. Lone Wolf, I think Holmes did real good in the draft. Trenches win games. Can't wait for September. I'm with you, and I know it's an adage as old as football itself. You control the lines of scrimmage. You control the game. Lions clearly going to work on it. Williams, could I have gone with a different defensive tackle there? I don't know, man. I think you're really, when you got to that point in the draft, you're splitting hairs. What I can say is, Tyreek Williams, man, it's hard to get a 330-pound dude to run at the speed he does. I wouldn't be surprised if there were situations he was the big defensive end, because he's going to be able to hold the edge, and he's going to be able to get some pressure on a quarterback. 4.65 for a 330-pound dude. I mean, that's impressive. It was weird hearing someone calling their viewers pathetic and mentioning other creators. It happens, man. Everybody has an opinion, right? Five Fingers Ready. Good morning. Also, what was our best and worst pick? Ooh. I've already said, in my opinion, the best pick was Frazier. Worst pick, I'm probably going to go with Lovett. Maybe I just don't know enough about him. I would say either him or Jackson, although I get why you take both of them. I just, there's a couple other players on the board I would have selfishly went after, and I'm sure that's probably true with a few of you guys too. All right, let's see. Marcus, good morning. Dan the Duku, Couch Potato, GMs, and Television Scouts. Hey, you got to have a little bit of both, right? Well, here's what I'd say with people. We're all passionate fans. Otherwise, you'd probably be watching this show. I get why some people really get upset about different picks. I also will say this about the mock drafts. A lot of times, this is just my experience. It doesn't have to be yours. A lot of times, the people making the mock drafts really don't know much about the players nor the teams. That's where I probably have the bigger issue with it. As you guys all saw with Lions, there's no way we're taking a 220-pound guy to be a defensive edge. It's just not what MCDC does. It's not what Brad Holmes does. But you saw tons of those guys mock to us. And I get it. It's mock draft season. I think where people really get upset is when there's a name of a player selected in round 1, 2, or 3, or whatever round, and you really don't know anything about this. You feel let down because you see this player on the board that I've heard all sorts of stuff about for 2, 3, 4 months or whatever it is. And now when that kid's not selected and we took somebody else, and I'll just say like Tesla, that's where I think people get upset because they just don't know anything about him. What I can say is I did know about him just by happenstance. I had watched some video on him. So when they took him, I thought it was a brilliant move. But I also get why people get upset. Bo, I almost rolled off myself laughing when we finally drafted an edge. Yeah, I like the pick, and I get the Lions are sticking to what the Lions do. It doesn't matter what anybody else says that we need or whatever. They clearly have an opinion that Davenport, Pascal, Alaquin Muhammad, Levi Onsarike, I'm assuming Zadarius Smith at this point, that those guys are going to be enough at the edge position. Who knows? Maybe, and again, apologies if I kill Ahmed Hassan's name, if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but I do think in time, if he's as passionate as he appears to be to work and study and prove, he could be something for the Lions. Doesn't mean he's going to be an all-pro, Hall of Fame or anything, but he could be a person of interest in that rotation. 11th best was Hamid, yeah, and worst was getting the last pick over Diggs, who was still available. There you go. I like Diggs, as you guys probably know. Why they didn't take him, that's for them to debate. Quentin, great and sanitation, y'all. Most don't know what really means what with these players, why I don't listen to much of them. Yeah, a lot of people don't know a ton about it. I know he's been on the show before, but Spirit of Detroit podcast, he does a lot of research on players. And I'm not going to say he's the one-all, know-all, but I also give him his flowers and say this guy puts in a lot of time studying different players. I think he's got a pretty good eye for things. So if there's some people making content, whether again for newspapers or YouTube or whatever, that probably just throw things along and say, hey, this is what I've heard on 50 other shows. This should be the pick here. Where I can say Avery actually does some homework on stuff, and he does quite a bit of homework, man. Server, Trench's coach, we all have been saying is defensive tackle, interior offensive line, edge and receiver. And what did Detroit get? Question mark. 2 defensive linemen with big masses, 2 guards, 2 receivers, and special team ace, crazy safety, right? Yeah, I agree with you, Silver Server. I personally, overall, really enjoyed what the Lions did. I think they came in and they made this team better. And that's no small task. We won 15 games last year, and really, what have we lost from the team? We've gotten everybody back healthy, assuming that they're all going to be healthy, and you still won 15 games last year with a broken down defense. That's not disrespectful. Let's be honest. They were beat up, and most of the players were out. So you now add in some of this talent to it. This Detroit Lions team, I don't know if they're going to win 15 games again, but it's probably going to be the best Lions team any of us have lived to see. Lone, check out the undrafted free agents. Yeah, hopefully you saw the list, Lone Wolf. Good to see you, man. It feels like it's been a hot minute. Benjamin, don't forget the number 1 pick for this season, Aiden Hutchinson. Everyone just calm down. Yes, indeed. He will be back this year. So small. If you can impose your will on the other team via your O and D lines, the game gets easier. If you can't, you get owned. Yeah, I would say you're spot on. That's true with Pop Warner all the way up to the NFL. 11, my only concern going into next season is Rakestraw and his development and health. Hopefully he's healthy this year. I'm going to trust this coaching staff. At this point, they've earned my trust to develop players because they've done a pretty dang good job in the past few years. All right, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Group. Back at you. Oh, what a team. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. What a draft. Great picks. Woo! I'm down with that. All that, and thank you for that. No, sunny skies ahead, crew. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's a better oh, yeah. And yes, I think the sun is skying ahead. I think it's all bright days in front of us. Marks, like Brad Holmes stated in yesterday's press conference, a lot of these television scouts have nowhere near the resources to evaluate the players he drafted. So, most of you guys know I do scouting for basketball at the professional level. Here's what I'd say. While a lot of us break down tapes and stuff, how many of us pay attention to the stuff that isn't on tapes? One thing, and I know I've said this a lot going into the draft, I don't ever look at highlight tapes, because how bad of a player do you have to be if you can't put together a highlight tape? If you've played any kind of, baseball, football, soccer, volleyball, football, whatever it is, you should be able to put together highlights. It doesn't show the stuff in transition, what you're doing when the play doesn't go away, off the ball, etc., all those things. So most scouts sit there and watch, and they don't just watch your skills, your raw athletic scores or anything like that. They watch for your personality. When you get in a room with them and now interview with them, what does your personality reveal? Most scouts can effectively pick apart the mask that we wear, and 15, 20 minutes later, figure out who you're really dealing with from a personality component. That's where I'd say most people, it's not disrespectful, it's just you don't have the access to that kind of information. I would say he's pretty spot on with that. So just as an example, it would be my anticipation at the NFL level. Each one of these draft picks by the Detroit Lions probably had about 6 to 8 months worth of investigation on them. At least the first, say, round 1 through round 3 or 4. You start getting below that, maybe it's only 2 or 3 months worth of investigation. And that's not by one person. That's by probably 3 to 6 different people. People that are trained to do this for a living, figure out your personality, the difference between this score, that score, just lots of different things that often get missed when watching a person live or on video. And again, don't go by highlights. Highlights are the biggest trash thing out there. I don't care if you're in high school, college, whatever. If you send some coach a highlight tape, most of the time when I coached in college, we just threw them in the trash because it doesn't show what you're bad at. It doesn't show what you do when that play isn't going your way, etc. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. What can we do? Morning Duke Group. Bring D. How about D. Smith back? All right. And as Bo Booth will say, rotation on the edge. Yeah, my guess is he's probably getting pretty close to being back. Whether or not they sign him now or in the training camp, I don't know. Phil, greetings, salutations. Back at you, Philly. Good to see you. Burger time. I 100% trust Brad since he took over the Lions, have become a legit contender. No one laughs at us anymore. You are spot on with that. He's done a heck of a job, and the best is yet to come. I agree with you. I think when you look at the core of this team, and I get where I'm going to say you can't keep them all together. Let the accountants, the guys that do that stuff, figure that out. But I think the next 2 to 3 years at the least for the Lions are going to be pretty dang good. We'll see after that. See what we keep drafting. Server. What a soap opera Shedeur Sanders journey. His dad said he did not want him in Cleveland, that being with the 2nd overall pick. Now, strange fate. He went to Cleveland, but with the 144th pick. At the end of the day, I don't know what the situation was. There's a ton of speculation. I didn't watch him enough to have any kind of informed opinion on him, so I'm not even going to try to say that I do have one. I just wish the kid luck. I hope he does well. Maybe it's a learning opportunity, a great opportunity for him to reveal his strength, character, and what he can do. Hopefully he knocks the cover off the ball in Cleveland or wherever he ends up. Drake, what is Brad doing? Question mark. The draft was terrible. There are going to be some that feel that way, and I get it. Let me know why you feel that way. In the last few days in the comment section of different videos, people reached out saying, hey, this was terrible. This was this, that, and the other thing. I just asked him one simple question. If that's your feeling, that's fine. But why is it your feeling? What is wrong with these picks? Tell me why you don't like the picks, and now we can have a conversation about it. Just coming up and saying, hey, someone was great or someone was bad doesn't say why they're good or bad, though. All right, Dale, good morning, Duke Crew. This is a great report, Coach. Hopefully you enjoy it, man. I enjoyed working on it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing it. Miles Meyer, greetings, salutations all. Love that Brad gave the fans an edge in the 6th, just like you, Bo. I laughed. Yeah, 100%. They grabbed him, and I really like the kid. He might not pan out. He might be cut or whatever, but I love his passion. I love his energy. I love his size. I love his athleticism. I'll be cheering him on. I'm sure most of you guys will too. Third time, good morning, brother Hookadoo. Hope all is well. One pride, back at you. Clark, anyone see the video of that 6th-round kid talking to Dan? Yes, I did. And again, I tried to queue it up. I thought I had it queued up, but probably if I left it on their website too long, it recycles, and I can't play the commercials on here. Robert, we must get Zadarius Smith signed fast. I think he will sign, but again, I'm leaning towards he's going to sign with us, probably in training camp or something. Ooh, top of the morning at the Berg and Lions win with grit. Yes, they do. That's how we win. Robert, greetings and salutations. Same to you. Big Eddie, greetings and salutations. Duke, I think Z Money will be back based on the draft, and they signed his nephew last night. Correct. The wide receiver. Yes, they did. Silver Server, Brad Holmes has been upset with reporters. He is getting tired of answering stupid questions, but does he know the game? Question mark. All I can tell him is Brad never take it personally in this business. No, reporters have an obligation to their employers to produce content. Otherwise, their employers don't have a business. So they're always looking for something to write about, I guess you'd say, or on YouTube or stuff like YouTube to report on. It's part of it. You can't get upset about it. I get some of the questions probably get rhetorical and redundant after a while. Hookadoo, Miles Martin, top of the morning, my friend. One pride, back at you both. Miles Martin, good morning, Hookadoo. Draft was decent. Now waiting for a schedule in mid-May. Yes, it'll be here in about 3 weeks or so. Marcus, television scouts think they can watch a few games on TV, complete a few mock drafts, and call Holmes and Brad draft bad. It's hilarious. It is, man, and I get what you're saying, Marcus. Where any of this is going to fall to, who knows? For every time you can say you miss on a player, who knows, man? Well, here's what I can say. Let's summarize with this. Brad Holmes has got the highest win rate in the NFL during his tenure with the Lions. It's like 82%. 82% of his picks remain with the team. That's hard to do. The average in the NFL, and don't hold me this, I'm going off my head. I don't have the notes in front of me. I want to say it's like 50, 55%. So the fact you're at 82%, you're basically 30% higher than the average in the league. So most of the teams are 30% below you. Now, on top of that, you just look at how much he's turned this team around in so quick amount of time. How many Hall of Famers are there on this team that he's drafted? I would argue there's probably 3 to 5 Hall of Famers. And that's crazy to think basically he's getting one Hall of Famer per draft. So here's, I guess, a question for the Duke Crew comment section. If you had to guess who the Hall of Famer is in this year's draft, let me know who it is, because chances are, based on the past with Brad Holmes, there is a Hall of Famer in this draft class. 11, who do we have to fill Iffy Melifano role? Question mark. Like linebacker, defensive back, or safety? That's a great question. We'll see. Maybe they'll still add somebody. I don't believe those reports about the Lions trying to acquire Jalen Ramsey. I just don't see that happening. Right, think. What up, though, East Side? Woo! Go Lions, back at you. Dale, hardest working man in the biz. Coach Stan, appreciate you, brother. Hey, I enjoy the heck out of doing this. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show, too. Trey, what's good, Duke Crew? Question marks and exclamation points. I don't know how to feel about the draft, but Brad worked on those Lions. Coach, is the Tesla, how do you pronounce his name? Pick really a good one? I'm torn. I really like him. I think I've basically covered why. Start with the run blocking. He does that very well. And the second is the size. We want a vertical game. I get there are reports he's going to play in the slot. He's going to play the X. The fact that he's flexible like that, hey, great. You got a 6'4" dude who can play all over the field at the receiver position. He's going to be able to jump. His vertical is insane. His catch radius, that's one thing I would say you can get from video. You can see how he tracks the ball with his eyes and his hands. He catches it pretty clean. He's got a real nice radius. I'm not going to say he's going to be Randy Moss out there, but you put him opposite Jameson Williams, you put him with Laporta, St. Brown, and everybody else on this offense, you can only double team so many guys. And I really do think you're having two receivers on the X's going deep a lot of times for Lions, which means opposing defenses, you probably can't play single high safety. You're forcing the coverage into two high safety. You probably got to use shell coverage. So basically, you've got four guys covering those two, and then from there, it's just a math problem. And if you're sending four people after the quarterback, there's only three people to now guard. Gibbs, if he comes out of the backfield, Laporta, St. Brown, and that becomes a problem. Johnny, good morning to the amazing coach and all of the crew. Back at you, Johnny. Hopefully you're having a good start to your day. Gary, greetings, salutations, crew. Glad they picked an edge, but I still want them to bring Ivy in for a look and see. He's a free agent. Well, maybe they can do it. I wouldn't be upset with that. I agree, Silver Sir. He's been upset at these reporters for about 3 years now. I'll go with that. Alada Hun is our new DC. I think a linebacker in the role. Yes, Alada with our new defensive coordinator. Yeah, I'm down with that, Bo. Just Alada the Hun, Strickland, maybe? Yeah, good call there. I did like Strickland last year. Good morning, all. Wait and see how the draft class brings anything. I'll go with that. Alana Hunt, armchair GMs and doctors thinking they are better than Brad Holmes and the Hutchinson's career is over. Yes, agreed. A lot of that. Silver Broderick Martin is almost out the door. Broderick, you're going to have to do something exceptional to make this team. Let's go, fellow. Prove us wrong. I hope he does, man. I'd rather wish success on people than failure. I like, you guys all know it, he's an athletic freak. Now he's just got to develop. Hopefully he does. If he does, man, then you know what? That's good for the team because the team got that much better. And Hooker's still here. What a waste. I am not a believer in him. We shall see. Yeah, wait and see. He's going to have some, preseason games to work with. Landon Ivy is big, but also slow, especially his lateral movement. Check out his numbers. Yeah, it could be why he fell out of the draft. Stephanie Woody, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. I like the later round picks more than the first three. Am I wrong for this? No. You like what you like. All the picks are in. The draft is over. Now let's see what the kids can do. Agreed. You got all these shiny new toys. What can the regime do with them? Miles Marcus, Civil Server. I was enjoying watching Holmes gently correct the tenure of the reporters' questions, saying things like, this is what you mean / refer to, right? Question mark. He can head him off and at the pass. Yeah, he came after him, and I agree with you guys. Yesterday and the day before, I think he was getting a little weary of some of the same questions. France, I read the comments on several YouTube shows. I could never run a channel because of all the haters. Some people have no manners. Yeah, and if you're going to do a channel that's just par for the course, or if you're going to write stories or whatever for newspapers, people aren't always going to like you. Put it that way. Trim Reaper, what up, coach and crew? Exclamation point, question mark. Woo, back at you. Hopefully it's good morning. Atlanta Hun, Bo, you are right. Maybe with Brian Branch back and healthy would be the iffy role, but better. Could be. They got some options, I think, this year. William, great draft. Got amazing players. We kept JMO. Couldn't ask for more. No, I think we got better. This 53-man roster, just think to make the 53, how big of a battle it's going to be at a lot of positions. Patrick, reading the salutations, everyone up and getting ready for church. So I thought I'd drop in and say good morning, and I'm loving the draft selections. Have a great day, my friend. Good to see you. I feel like it's been a minute or two since I've seen you in the chat. Doughboy Steve, wake and bake. Woo! Yay! Get after it, my friend. Server. And by the way, coach, I love Tyleek and Freak, the mullet fellow, Big Frazier, and that big Pharaoh we got from Egypt land. But I really love the tall kid from Michigan. Diesler grew up a Lion. Yeah. And I know some of you guys remember him from high school in Michigan and stuff like that. And I know I mentioned it earlier, the Lions got a lot more athletic across the board with this draft. I think that's going to pay off for them. Trim Reaper, what an amazing draft for our Lions. Oh, yeah, I'll go with that. Hun, coach getting me up early, even on the weekends. Yeah, there's no days off as a Lions fan, is there? Johnny L., who's the edge we picked? I fell asleep. It's the kid from Boise State. You go check him out, the first ever Egyptian player drafted in the NFL. And I'm probably killing his name. Apologies for that. Let's see, Ahmed Assanin. So, and again, if I'm mispronouncing it, sorry. Paperback fan, greetings, salutations, Duke Group. Pretty good draft. Address needs. Can't wait for the season to start. I like the way you're thinking. Marcus, Lions signs Zadarius Smith's nephew as an undrafted free agent. Could this be a good sign? I think it probably is a sign. Silver Server, have a good one, Cheese Bro. There you go. El Hun, Silver Server, like you like the Egyptian. Yes, he's passionate. Passionate is probably the right word for him. I love this group. Hey, we love you too. Welcome back to the show. Dale, usually takes about 3 years to accurately address a draft class. Let's trust in Holmes and Campbell. Oh, yeah. I'm down with that because, just looking at some of the guys we mention all the time with Iffy, Barnes, etc., those guys took 3 years to develop. Darius Slaves took 3 years to really kind of get on the field and do something. Most guys, not all, but most do take some time. Trim Raybert, Johnny L., I don't believe we drafted an edge. We did get one. Silver Server, laughing. Duncan, that was amazing draft. Brad Holmes is the king. Every pick was just perfect. I don't know about all that. A lot of debate out of all of them, but I get your point there, Donkey Kong, for sure. One pride, yo, God, there, you got to go with God, right? One pride, laughing out loud, should be saying good morning. Yeah, say good morning. Paperback fan, Johnny L., Ahmed Hassan. Yes, and I'm probably not pronouncing it right. I'll work on it. Silver Server, Marcus, are you kidding? The Trim Reaper, Brad Holmes, trust Ziboom will do the trick. 100%. Bo, I can walk like the Egyptian. Maybe you can. David, Soccer Talk rules. Hey, glad you like it. It's a nice place for sure. Paul, good morning. Dan and Cruz, same to you. Hun, he drafted an edge we could get and fit. Also, look at the player and not where he was drafted. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, you guys all know the stories about 20 different people that were drafted in the late rounds that panned out. Lions have several of those guys. At the end of the day, you draft the guy because you believe in him. And obviously the Lions believed in the players they selected. Nine Drinks, greetings and salutations, Duke Crew. Back at you. Love the new pick. Johnny, thanks for that paper. Coach Rock, good morning. All, in my opinion, I was a good draft. I'm sure 3 to 4 will be lucky to make the team. Agreed with that 100%, Coach. Brian, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Good seeing this morning. The Trim Reaper, my bad, Johnny. Trina and Christina Conway, we were just wanting to say good morning. How is everyone doing a day after the draft? Question mark. We are doing great. Thank you for the update. Everyone have a safe and blessed day. Woo! Back at you both. Hopefully it is going to be a phenomenal Sunday for you. Tug Speedman, how could any Lions fan be happy with this draft? Sad day. It comes down to your opinion, Tugs. I mean, some are going to hate it for sure. Some are going to love it. Wait and see. It's really going to probably be the end of the second year where we know these guys worked out or not. The second year they each had in the league. Marcus, the Egyptian magician, yeah, he's got a lot of magic to him. Silver Sword, not many defensive linemen, undrafted free agents are going to want to come here. Very crowded, but I still hope they try. Desmond Watson, the defensive tackle from Florida, 464 pounds, unmovable. You can move those legs. Yes, I did see he's a person of interest, and finding somebody who's just shy of 500 pounds to put in that middle, I got to imagine there's a few teams who will be trying to sign him. Trim Reaper, half of our base hates one of my favorite, J-Mo, and now we got a wide receiver that will likely be protested against and peacefully set ablaze. We'll find out, man. Fred, greetings, salutations. It's a great day to be a Lion. Exclamation point. Woo! The light at the end of the tunnel is the Detroit Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Anthony, Ahmed is a dog. I think so too, man. I can't wait to unleash him on the other teams. Silver Sir, you fellow, no, I don't harvest any bad feelings towards divisional rivals. In fact, I consider them neighbors, but I am sure darn happy Gentry didn't become a Bears. I'm happy Grant went to the AFC. Me too, man. I agree with you. Robert, good morning, all. I am ready for some football. Hey, you get one day closer, right? Man, Barrett, good morning, all. Same to you. Trim Reaper, I was referring to Tesla. Yes, I knew where you were going with that. First, I trust Brad Holmes, not television scouts. Probably a good move. Let's see, Silver. Tugs, believe it, Tugs. I am very happy with this draft, which, as far as I'm concerned, as one big hole, that not having drafted a legit NFL halfback to be behind the duo. Jack West Hunter was the one. Yeah, I know you were all over him. Robert, I slept good last night knowing Brad Holmes is cooking football. Yes, he is. He's cooking up some football. Big D, good morning, all. I was at the draft yesterday. Man, it was a good time. Glad he had a great time. It looked like it was better weather yesterday. Keith, good morning and great salutations. Dan and the Duke Crew. Exclamation point, go Lions. Going to be 14-3, Super Bowl bound. Woo! Let's make that Super Bowl champs. Robert, thumbs up. Scott, Lions draft this year was good, but I just wish we could have gotten higher on edge. We get killed by mobile quarterbacks, and we still will. That is the problem. If the quarterback breaks containment, example Daniels. Yes, I agree. So let's see what they come up for that, though, this year. Around the hunt, Tugs, when you know the needs and weaknesses of the team that is drafting and who they pick, you can be very happy. Awesome picks. I'm overall pretty pleased with it. Dale, coach, was Louis Delmas WMU when you worked there? He was an explosive player for us. I liked him a lot. No, I was there in the 90s. I want to say 90. Gosh, I'm testing my memory here. 90. Was it 95, 6, 95 and 6? That sounds right. Louis, I want to say, was in the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. Robert, 19-0. That would be a great season. Silver, Frazier will get reps at center. Probably true. Amy, good morning. Dan of the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Yes, we drafted an edge. It's about time. Brad cooked good. I like the way he's cooking. At least it's looking like it could be a good meal. Coach Rock, no Lakitasi news? Question mark. Would sign him and bring him in at least to see what he's made of. Yeah, I wonder if they do try. I'm sure there'll be a few teams trying. Mary, good Sunday morning, everyone. Back at you. Jeff, Dan, we should do a collaboration. I'm only a click to your... All right, fair enough. Yep. Hookadoo. Big D, you're sneak over and take a leak at GB's field. Yes, get on the Green Bay's field. Sir, the Pharaoh is a big fellow, 4 inches less than Hudson, but 7 pounds heavier. Yeah, he's got some mass to him. Let alone, the Lions have drafted edges every round, and fans wouldn't be happy. That's probably true if they would have taken an edge every round. Michigan Santa, what do you got? Brad is becoming predictable in his unpredictable draft style now after 5 drafts. Hey, I'll say this. I had us, taking 7 different players. I was right on the position in the round. I want to say on 5 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Big D, the dude from Egypt is a freak athlete. I agree with that, Big D. A little rough around the edges, but his upside is crazy. And his personality, his desire, his passion, I think will take him far. All right, Rocky, love the trench picks. They are the backbone of the team. Woo! Yeah, the Lions are built around those. 9 Drees. Huntsville has some of the best in the state. I graduated from Huntsville. My mom and all of her siblings from Unity Christian. Great school, by the way. Great school, but didn't have a football team when I was in school. Hey, well, now I'm pretty sure they do now. Mary, I think GM did one good job, one pride. There you go, Mary, and back at you. Good morning, by the way. Vincent E. Frazier was a steal in the 5th. I think so, too. TS, no pick too high to pick your guy. If you believe in the guy, doesn't matter where you get him. At the end of the day, it doesn't. Just you look at Shedeur Sanders. There were a lot of people that thought the Cleveland Browns would take him in the 1st round. That didn't happen. How about the 2nd round? At the end of the day, he got there. He got into the NFL. Now, he's just got to do what he can to prove himself and get that 2nd contract, etc. Michigan Panther Pride, good morning. Coach Diana Duke Group, back at you. Trim Reaper, the day will come where St. Brown or JMO gets hurt, and now another 2nd. Yeah, and now we've got another pick. TS, Vanillatron, a good pick. We'll find out. Vanillatron, yeah, I knew. Yeah, I like the kid. I'll end the hunt. Some things were said about, same things were said about Gibbs and JMO. Look how that turned out. Yeah, they both turned out pretty well. Duncan Tisla will be the star of his class. Maybe, man. He's in a good position where you're not going to be able to focus too much on him, so he might get a lot of one-on-one situations where you can take advantage of. Pat, good morning. Dan and Brad did good in the draft. I'm happy with what they did. Skip them Bears. 100%. Let's skip all over the Bears. Avery T. Brad Holmes getting us an edge reminds me of the movie 48 Hours when Eddie Murray wanted dinner and Nick Nolte gave him a candy bar. Told him, you got your darn dinner. There you go. Hey, Samir, happy birthday to me. Got who I wanted to meet. Yeah, I know you were all over it. I know you sent me a message yesterday. I was happy for you. I'm happy for the player, too, especially when you watch the interview with him. Go check it out, guys, if you have time today. Pat, A+, facts in 60 seconds. National media didn't like Jahmyr Gibbs. Pick either. How did that turn out? No, you're spot on with that. They didn't like him. They didn't like JMO. You could probably find other people that falls into as well. How would you seem other teams don't like to work with the Lions anymore? It would seem, they're probably true. Well, they're probably true that they don't want to give us more ammunition. Maybe that's right. Duncan, Brad is the most amazing GM ever. Love everything about the man does. Brad is very busy building a dynasty. Hey, he's turned this team around, hasn't he? Give him his flowers. William, it's funny how people are so upset over the trades, saying we gave up too much. We got who we wanted. I'm happy. It's the end of the day, man. Look at your girlfriend, wife, or your significant other, whatever. Would you trade whatever to get them? If your answer is yes, then that person holds intrinsic value to you. If whether it's Tisla, or Frazier, or whoever, at the end of the day, if you believe that player is going to be, right as rain or whatever for your team, doesn't matter what you gave up. Probably not. Silver Surfer, coach, that wide receiver has all the looks, height, size, hands, and a smooth runner. Seems slow, and he gets away from him. I love the pick. And another thing, with the new OC, all receivers more leveled up. Yeah, he has very long strides, to your point. So when I looked at him, you look at how he separates when people get hands on him and try to jam him. He gets clean from that pretty quick. Now, when he gets in and out of his routes, watch his first foot placement on the brakes. He gets in and out of that cut, lickety split. One of the problems I always had with TJ Hockenson is he had a rounded cut. Why does that matter? DBs chasing him now can, undercut the route and get picks. The last year that he was here, in whatever it was, 3 or 4 games, Goff, I think when he was traded, had 4 picks. 3 of those 4 were on passes to TJ Hockenson and on out routes. Why? Because Hawk would round it and the DB could undercut it and get to it. This kid, while he's still going to have to learn some stuff, Silver, he's already pretty ahead of the curve in that regard, I feel. TS Rock, other teams see Brad as sleazy salesman now. Maybe. Silver talking about Tesla, excuse me. Big D, he reminds me of Puka. Yeah, kind of, a little bit. Atlanta Hunt, B+ draft would have been A- if they would have drafted Diggs with their last pick. I was actually surprised they didn't look at him, but obviously had a bigger grade on the other kid. Tugs, we need edge help, and the kid who's only been playing a few years isn't it. Yeah, I get it. Amit's going to take some time to develop for sure. the only thing I could say, Tugs, is the Lions representation or coaches clearly feel like the guys we have here are pretty dang good. Mary, when I watch tape, he reminds me of Kirby Joseph. There you go. Courtney, we got hogs and dogs on our team with Bama boys and Buckeyes. Exclamation points. Woo! And oh yeah, Hutch block M. All right. Kerry, Landon Hun picked Hutch, picked Max, picked our kicker before everyone else. I think I see talented players. A lot has to do with who you have around you. I think Ivy is coachable to elite. There you go. Avery T. Brad Holmes getting us an edge reminds me of the movie 48 Hours. When yeah. I think we got that one. Big D, can't believe Scatterbo went in the 5th. Yeah, me either, man. I was surprised. Hookadoo, happy birthday, Shamir. There you go. Marcus, there wasn't a succession planning draft where you got multiple starters at key positions. All right, we'll go with an A. I'll go with that. A succession plan, replacing some of the guys with expiring contracts. Tug Speedman, laughing. Don Kong, A++. David, there's a great Rich Eisen interview on Ahmed Hassan on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw that pop up basically when I started researching, trying to find the interview from him getting drafted. Sure, thanks, Hookadoo. Derek, good morning, coach and crew. I'm satisfied with the picks. Brad hits more than he misses. Correct with that, 100%. Jerry, David, thanks. I'll check it out. Atlanta Hunt, do we really need edge help, or is that just some YouTubers are saying? Pass rush was doing well before Hutchinson and Branch got injured. I'll go with that. We had a lot of guys get injured. Derek, what's up with the Vite Queens picking up Sam Howell? JJ out? I was wondering that too, but I don't know. Robert, is the O-line getting better? I think you have to, man. So, even if one or two of the guys make it out of all the guys you now brought in, you're probably going to be pretty dang deep next year. Courtney, forgot LSU Tigers. There you go. Avery, Brad Holmes getting the fans base and edge reminds me of the movie. Yeah, we got that. Yep, we got that. Double Diamond. Good morning, Coach Dan and everyone. What do you think this draft means for Manu? Nothing. I think he's going to be a tackle where, most of the guys brought in, Frazier or, whatever, are going to be guards, maybe even center. So they're going to be inside where Manu's probably going to be outside. DS Land of the Hun, we need someone opposing of Hutch to generate at least pressure and, of course, some depth. But if everyone stays healthy come playoff time, we should be okay. I agree with that. Egon, am I the only one who thinks that only one that perplexed a upset missile like Dan Jackson to the 7th round? He is a manic. No, I know what you're saying about the safety kid that we brought in. The only downside I have to him, Egon, and Dan Jackson is just he's only got 1 year of starting experience. But to your point, special teams, stuff like that, he's going to be right as rain. Don Kong, Brad is best GM in the NFL. Just amazing how perfectly he drafts for the standard loaded team. All right. Tugs, every player we drafted has a 2nd round grade or lower. But whose grades? That's the other thing I would throw at you guys. When you say stuff like, 2nd round grade, who's giving these grades? Is it the NFL teams? Is it the NFL scouts? Is it the NFL GMs? Or are we talking about people in media? There's a big difference between all the two. Let's see. I guess I would put it this way to you, Tugs. You take your car into a mechanic, and the guy on the street over at McDonald's says, "Hey, you need new tires." You go to the mechanic, and he says, "Tires? You don't even have an engine in the car. So who are you going to listen to?" I guess that's what I would say. All right, David, the problem is when your edge opposite Hutch is always injured, I would feel perfectly fine if they brought Z back. I think they're probably going to, Dave. So for the O-line will have to release a whole lot of players. Answaka worried. Scoresdale worried. I even say Skip might be worried because Manu might get that spot. I have been thinking that Manu could take over the skipper role. I know we talked about on the show, like a month or so ago. All right, guys, we're already in overtime, so I'm going to kind of power through, get people who haven't been on as much. Rock, as Brad said, they watched hours and hours of film on these players. I'm sure the Lions got the right because I'm sure don't sit around all day watching film on these guys. So trusting Brad's team. Yeah, I trust in the scouts, especially with what they've done the last 4 to 5 years. They've done a very good job. Betsy, Scoresdale definitely gone. Probably true. TS, nothing scarier than someone who is just starting to fall in love with football like a pharaoh. Ooh, I like what you did there. Robert, edge, give it a break. Detroit is in great shape. I think so. Let's see, Tugs, he's a poor man's Ziggy answer. Maybe. We'll find out, man, won't we? Michigan Panther Pride, Brad likes his Southern boys. He picks up a few from Bama before. Yes, he does. Seems to latch on particular teams. Marcus, I will die for you, Coach. Ahmed Hassan, yeah, instant A+. Yeah, I really like everything about him so far. Henry, he'll fit right in with St. Brown. Probably true. Shamir Ahmed is an A+. Yeah, I figured you would probably give that grade, man. Michigan State Lions are and still building a team that is maximally physical to beat up other teams physically. It's where we've never gonna draft undersized edge rush ends up higher in the draft. I get it. Yeah, I get that too, man. I see what you're saying. All right, a couple more here. 9 drinks. Yep, the Georgia Alliance. Where did this come from? Hey, I don't know. They shook some hands or something. Keitho, Silver Server, Nate Lynn. There you go. Art. I have a really good feeling with Isaac Tisla. He will be a fan favorite. He was also a quarterback in high school, so he makes some trick plays. He's amazing a pass or two. Yeah, making a pass or two, 100%. Keith, we are much better. I'll go with that. Jeff, Tug doesn't know ball. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know if he does or doesn't. Let's see. Trimmer, Detroit probably has the most athletic defensive and offensive lines. Yeah, I could definitely say that with the offensive line. Defensive line, I think, is getting bigger and bigger, better, whatever you want to say. Rick C, now bring Z back and we're in good shape. I think they will, my friend. Leonard, morning coach and Duker. Great draft overall for depth in the future. Hutch and Hassan are both high motors and edges. Great upside. Yeah, and I like Alkan Muhammad. I mean, you guys all get it, man. There's a lot of guys that fall into that mold. I think we're going to be better than anticipated. Robert, going to clone Hutch in 20 years. We will have Hutch in Hutchinson's in every draft. How about that? Big D. Eagles are also got a lot younger and better, though, so we got to be great and to beat them. Yes, we have to. Hey, the race for the top, every time you move up, there's going to be less and less talent there to compete with. The cream rise to the top. What do we want to say, man? Bo, Nate Lynn could be a diamond if healthy. Could be. JDC, morning all. Back at you. Trump's tongue to support the team and draft the players you like. Yeah. You do what you can to help support everybody. Tug, why are you here if you don't like the players selected? Go support some other team. Fair enough. Earl, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, go Lions. Back at you. Double Diamond. Did you like the international draft pick announcement? Yes, I did. So much Germany and Mexico. I enjoy the mispronunciations, but not much else. All right, fair enough, man. Nothing wrong with that. Robert, Brad goes and gets the players that fits. Yes, you guys want to probably, none of us would probably get how much research goes into each player and how in depth it goes. Not just what they do on the field, but what they do off the field, what they did in high school, what they've done in college. Each team, especially the higher draft picks, it's exhausting. It's like an FBI investigation into each one. Maybe you could say CIA. That's probably more appropriate. Michigan Panther Pride, Lions Syndicate isn't a bad show. Derek is a really passionate and always keeps it real. Those are his real feelings and reactions. Fair enough. Yeah, I like Derek, man. I get some don't, some do, etc. I love Tesla also, says Leonard. Yeah, me too, man. Remember, all these teams drafting multiple players will make the team, ? The practice squad will be poached. Yeah, if it's a draft pick, they probably will get poached by other teams. JDC, I ain't scared. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Don Kong, Kurt Steele, Mock Hamid, and Tesla to Detroit. Kurt wins. Hey, great job. And he does a real good job, too. There's a lot of guys that do some real due diligence with stuff. You guys all know it. Kurt does a great job, man. Telsian Anderson, Isaac Tisla will give other teams fits in your offense. I think so, man. I think he's going to be a real win. He's going to take some time, like every rookie, to develop, to get acclimated in the NFL, but give him some time. Robert, thanks, Dan T. Love your show and always appreciate the time you put in it. Hey, I love being here. Love being with you guys. Thank you for that, Robert. Learn to read. Go D. Bless the 3-on-3. Not God. All right, fair enough. I'll try to do all that. Silver Star, as much as Deion Sanders might have helped Shadora's career, I think he might have hurt it even more. Too much spotlight. Now he is the second quarterback pick in the NFL, but not the same team. Yeah, I'll go with that. Jellic Campbell being skipped was a stinger for me, and especially since he went to the Eagles, but I gladly defer to the professionals. Go Lions. Yeah, I'm down with you. John, right on target. Silver Server. Let's see who else. We're looking for some people I haven't been on as much. Avery T. Brad Holmes had a chance to draft Donovan Inquiry at 28 and passed on him. He's going to be a Pro Bowler for Dallas. Holmes will regret not picking him. Look at his film. Yeah, I'll go with that. I mean, hopefully for the kid, he ends up being great, but, I'm going to hope that the Lions picked a better player. But that's all I can do is hope. Anyway, Michigan Panther Bryant Lions Syndicate is a hater of ignorant because they have all the information necessary. We don't. All right, I'll go with that. Text me, maybe the Browns. All right, let's see. Looking hard to crack the starting line. I line up with the Lions. More importantly, they can fit into the rotation. I like the rotation. Lad of the Hun, laughing out loud. Tony D, absolutely love the Miles Frazier pick. Great pulling guard and doesn't give up sacks at all. Lions fans always complaining about giving up picks, yet history shows Hims always replaces them. Yes, he does indeed. He does a great job with it. Dwayne, Tim, not naming something that kid has done that made you think he's arrogant. Coaches seem more worried about Deion. Yeah, could be. David, Robert, correct. I think some fans would go back to the days where every pick was an instant starter because we had no talent. That's the other part of it. The more talent you have, the harder it's going to be to come in and start. So I get what you're saying there. John, sorry, Tug, you didn't get your shiny new toy. It happens, man. Sometimes we don't always get what we want. 84-1, it's time to go to work to Detroit. It's finally countdown Detroit basketball. Hey, back at it. Hopefully they can get back into the win column. Robert, endgame is where we look now. Yes, indeed. Kerry, can't wait to see what Arnold will do this season. I think he's going to be better. Yeah, he's going to show some real development. Robert, endgame. Yeah, sorry, I got that one. Version of the mean, legendary. Tony D, was it just me or did anyone else notice Nick Saban said he, quote, I like that kid about every single pick in the first 3 rounds? Probably true. Yeah, I wasn't listening as much, so you guys probably know more on that. D-Slide is now driving Detroit. Go D. Bless the 313. There you go. And yeah, hey, nicely done there with Tesla driving Detroit. All right, Tug Speedman, Silver Tug Speedman. Goodness, I know what style. You are relentless, but at the end, I have to say funny. All right, Kerry, get the Aussie rugby player. I wonder if somebody will. I wonder if we will. How about that? Thomas, the kid from Boise State, I believe he has the talent and the attitude to actually make the team and make a difference. I think he can develop for sure, man. William, can't wait to see Ratledge next to Sewell and Ragnall. The run blocking will be scary. I can't wait. No, I think our offensive line is going to be very strong. JDC, Dre Forge rocks, and he rolls. Thomas, what this draft did tells me we have no confidence in our current backup guards. Hey, they want to get bigger, athletic, younger. I get all that stuff. So, Nate, green salutations. Lion sign Darius' nephew Meeks as a undrafted free agent. I think Z is back. I would agree, man. You got your nephew here. You got your girlfriend here. A lot of things falling into place, aren't there? Brian was at my football detox is over now that the draft is over. Let's go, Lions. Hey, welcome back, my friend. Hopefully you're ready to get after it. JDC, tick, tick, tick. There we go. Jay, what do you got? All in all, good draft, I think. Me too, man. I'm pretty happy with it. I get some people will love it or not love it, etc. Hookadoo, happy trails, one pride. See, JDC, happy trails, go Lions, victory. Michigan Santa, I thought Williams ran a 4.1, not a, I got him as a 4.65. That is his top 40 time. So if somebody can confirm that, but that's what I show. So JDC, Tree of Destiny, Benjamin, Hassan, great pick, and Eisen interview, terrific. The kid is articulate and motivated. Campbell reincarnated. I'm down with that. Gary, happy trails, do cruise Sunday. There you go. Thomas, that explanation of Tisha Hoxton route 100% right on. Hey, every once in a while I get something right, Thomas. Every once in a while. Jay, what do you got? Man, if they bring Z back, we are going to be dangerous. I think so. Sue Bell, I think this was a great draft. I'm happy with what we got. I'm back with you, Sue. I concur with your assessment of the situation. Perfectly put, Coach, about the grades. Grades are like everyone has one. Yes, correct. And hey, you just go with what you believe, right? Rocky or Coach Rock, I like when people complain about the draft. That means Brad did a good job. Probably, yeah, probably. Ted, I think the first 2 picks were needs. Yeah, maybe they needed to draft them. Hey, there we go. Michael, Brad made up for the aging players that won't be around much longer. Yeah, trying to get some guys in here now to develop so they don't have to come in right away. Yeah, you can kind of develop them. Danny Donald, I love the draft, calling backup for the backups who is solidified them trenches in both defense and offense. Hoorah! Can we say one hell of a running game now? I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see the Lions running game unleashed. All right, guys, if there's breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. If you could be so kind before checking out, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons, be a good human being, do something kind for someone you don't know, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Help Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?